anybody? Hello.
Oh, let's try this again. Hanging up.
It just did your I'm hanging up thing.
Hello, hello. Chat room checking in. Joe Friday. Frog. 4PC. Anybody? Can you guys hear us? Leave briefly before we hung up. I heard it hang up. Check it again. Check it again. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Hang on. I heard hang up. Never type the letters.
Are we hanging up?
Back. Are we back? I guess they can hear us. So, this is weird. We have no music. So, this is totally just gonna just throw me completely through for a loop because that's bizarre. So, yeah, we're on the air, I guess. Not sure what happened there, but we gotta love Skype. Yay. So, we'll sing real fast. La 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 la. Awesome intro song. You like that? All right. Welcome to Prepper Chicks After Dark. It is Tuesday, September the 2nd, 2014, and we're here to play some Conflicted. I don't think we got JD, though, did we? Anyhow, Conflicted, what is it? It's a card game that Survival Logic puts out. There's 3 decks out right now, 52 cards, survival situations on each one that you can play with your prepper group to open up their minds and try and figure out what they would do. Yeah, we missed this whole song, I guess. But thanks, Jules, for giving us the heads up there. Not sure what's going on, but hey, we're here, and we're loving it. So, with us tonight, so far, cross your fingers that this works out. Geek is back with us. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, thank God. Oh, I'm hoping Skype lets us talk tonight, and the NSA lets us continue. Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Hey, if anything, we're going to wing the hell out of this like we usually do, right?
That's right. As long as it's not just me and Alika again.
That's funny. And with us tonight is a dear friend of mine, Susan, from The Deer Farmer's Wife.
Good evening, everyone.
You sounded a little spooky there for a minute.
Whoa.
Well, you know, we are on this Indiana hiding out, so you know how this goes.
Amish, Indiana?
Yes, very much so.
Woo, go burn.
So, yes.
Okay, well, let's get going. We're going to bend this up a little bit here.
Hello.
Hello.
Can
Geek,
anybody hear me?
Oh, JD's here! You made it!
It's JD here.
Yeah,
Yes.
welcome.
The NSA could not keep me away. I found a
You're the
workaround.
man.
Awesome.
That is awesome. That was totally bizarre. But nothing new, it seems. We're dealing with this stuff every week. So, hey, you know, we'll deal with it and move on. So, awesome. JD, glad you're here.
Great to be here, guys.
All right, so I'm going to throw you guys out a challenge to start with. Now, first of all, there's a rule. You cannot use any of your stored preps that you already have on hand, okay? It's you, your spouse, and 2 children. And let's say they're, one's 8, one's 14. How's that? So, not totally young, but
Sounds
not
good.
totally adult. Okay, so far?
Yep.
I'm going to hand you $10. You have to feed your family for a week. $10. A lot of people are going through that right now out there, if they even have $10 to do it on. So you cannot use your stored preps. You have a spouse, and you have 2 kids, 8 years old and 14. You have $10, and you want to feed them, your whole family, for 1 week.
On $10.
On $10.
This could be fun.
So, who wants to go first?
I will. This
I
one's
guess.
easy.
All right.
Luckily, where we live in Amish, USA, we have stores called Fit and Dent, and we go there quite frequently because we have 7 people in our family, and we have a very tight budget. And if that $10, an example, we went shopping last week. I bought a brand new box of Carnation instant milk. Had like 6 or 7 packages in it, and for $2. So
Okay, I'm adding this up. So you have 6 packages of milk,
yes,
$2. Now, how much milk can that make? 6 packages.
I water it down. I cheat. I could probably get 3 to 4 gallons out of that easily.
Okay, so you have 3 to 4 gallons of milk. You have $2. So you have $8 left.
Okay, I can get a 10-pound bag of rice there for $1.75, $2, depending on what brand it is.
Okay, we'll round this up to $2.
Okay. And they have all kinds of different canned meats there, and I mean they vary anywhere from 50 cents all the way up to $1 a can, depending on how big the can is.
So how many cans are you going to need to feed your family of 4 for a week?
I would do 3 cans because I'm going to really spread this thin.
Okay, so you're at $7.
Yep. And then I can get containers of juice for 50 cents a piece. So I'll grab one of those. I can get canned fruit for $0.25 a piece, so I'll finish it out.
So 1 can of juice for 50 cents, and then the rest you're going to do
You like-
canned fruit.
That way they have some kind of balance something. I know I didn't get veggies. Forget it. I don't even care. They can eat pine nuts. That'll work.
No, where is this place with such good prices?
We're very blessed where we live, actually, and I don't mind saying it, NSA, whoever they want, NASA can come get it. We live in Shipshewana, Indiana, and
Shipshewana! Sorry.
yes, we have wonderful Amish stores, and one of them is actually called Bent and Dent.
Oh.
And we can go there. It's an Amish store. It's hilarious. They don't have electricity. It's run on a generator. That's how they have their electricity. And the lights will flicker every once in a while if the gas starts going out in the generator. But you can get a box of cereal for 50 cents. So,
Geek!
That's awesome.
I was dying to say it, but I just typed it.
You can't put that. Yeah, I guess
oh
you
my
can. You did.
word.
Hey, Bendent, what's up, girl?
But you know what? This day and age, I mean, we have 7 people. I have a very tight budget, and I make it go as far as I can. And that's
Okay. So, Anonymous 9607, you can get 10 boxes of 5-count McNuggets. No, still ketchup for vegetable soup. Oh, that's sad.
That's very sad.
Nuggets are not even real food.
Oh, no,
But-
they're not. Nasty.
I know.
Yeah.
They're just
Did he-
something we can digest.
JD, what are you going to buy with your $10?
Well, I don't have any Amish stores around here,
Start one.
unfortunately.
But you're unemployed, you lost
Uh-oh.
your job, you're going to lose your house, you got $10 left, and you got to feed your family for a week. What can you do? No, you can't
For
use your crap.
$10. $11.
Not 11, 10.
No. For one meal. So I think I would just go to I'll go to the LDS Bishop Storehouse, which is the next best thing than an Amish store. You can buy super cheap bulk food in there. You can probably get a can of rice and beans that'll last you a week for $2 a piece. And get some instant mashed potatoes for maybe $100. Instant milk for another $2.
I guess you haven't
Yeah.
checked the prices out there lately, have you?
It's scary.
For the Bishop Star House, for the LDS.
For the
church?
LDS. Yeah.
Wait, is it more than that? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
JD's been skipping church.
For a week's worth of food?
Yeah.
Really?
We have one here
Well,
in Indianapolis.
I want to. Ours here is going to open next month because it's been closed for renovations. When they do, I'm going to stock up on a few things.
Yeah.
And I expect to go in there and spend $10 a week. So we'll see.
And let me know how that works out for you. Because we have one here, and I know they were, the rumor was, last year before, that the government was trying to shut them down all over the place. So, but I would question
That is true.
$10 and being able to
You
spread
know,
that out.
one thing I can tell you is this. I've been LDS pretty much my entire life. And, growing up, they used to say, hey, you need 3 years worth of food. You need 3 years worth of food. And now, they're only allowed to say 6 months.
Really? Why did that
They
change?
Yeah. Well, rumor has it they were told they couldn't. That's what I've heard. That they could not tell people to keep that much food around. That had to be less.
Because it's against the law?
I don't know. It's just, for the whole entire. Ever since the church was founded, it's been 2 to 3 years worth of food, and now, recently, within the last year or so, it's been 6 months, and a lot of people are like, okay, that's weird, but the rumor has it came from the powers that be, in the government, so.
Yeah. Well, here's what I just went on to the website for them, because I know we have one here on the west side of Indy. They have a starter kit, and it has a number 10 can. Now, this is going to possibly last you longer, and you probably won't even be able to use half this stuff if you don't have the right components. But it comes with a number 10 can of each of hard red winter wheat, hard white winter wheat, white flour, white rice, pinto beans, and quick oats, and it's $33.50.
Wow.
Wow, and that's supposed to last how long?
Well, don't forget, you've got hard white rice and hard red white rice. If you don't know how to grind that, that's worthless to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to utilize the flour in it, it doesn't matter. If you don't know how to soak the beans, about the only thing that most people are going to be able to even use are the quick oats and the rice, if they know how to even cook that.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 out of the 6 cans are pretty much a waste of time for a lot of people.
Well, grinding, that's what teeth are for, so...
Amen,
no problem
brother. Amen. That's what I was just thinking. I just chew that crap up and swallow it.
Just do it.
And you guys are going to be constipated to death.
Your stomach's going to be...
If you can digest the chicken nugget, you can digest it.
Constipated to death. That's how I want to go. That's it.
There you go.
Oh my
Actually, it's funny because I use freeze-dried food. I have some in my storage, and one of those is peaches, which are just absolutely outrageously delicious. If you've never had freeze-dried peaches, they are unbelievable. So I had taken some to one of the gun ranges because I had a friend visiting, and one of the guys in there opens it up and starts eating it. I'm not paying attention because we're busy doing other stuff, but he reached in the bag, he picked it up, and he started eating it. He ate the whole thing by himself. And we were just waiting for his stomach to just explode.
Oh.
It's like take small drinks of water and all that. But he ended up being okay, but lesson learned on that one. So
Wow.
Geek, you got $10. What are you gonna do?
I would buy
That's
five
crazy.
5 pounds of beans and then score what I could in rice or noodles, and then grab a little thing of bouillon cubes for some flavor for the rice or noodles, and we would just eat that.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Shipshewana and eat some of those junk horses they sell up there.
We have lots of horses.
I've been up there. They have the auctions, and they,
Yes,
you can
we
buy
do.
the ones that are all jacked up and eat them.
Well, the biggest thing around here, they actually advertise it in all the local papers. They're buying older horses and they're sending them up to Canada, and they're selling them up there for meat. So they'll go around and buy up all the old horses that people have up here, and we actually know a family member that does this. They take them up there and drop them off.
Yummy.
Nice.
Delicious.
Mm-mm.
Well, just because we think it's, whatever. But how about what was the fairy tale or the story, the kid story about stone soup? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Or am I just that old?
I remember stone soup.
Okay. What about taking something off of that? You can get a whole chicken, a cheap one, not a good cut, but you can get we have a couple Asian grocery stores here that have some really cheap cuts of meat in it. So get a couple chickens that you can throw in a pot, water. Nobody's going to be able to drink anything but water. Fill that puppy up. You've got your broth then. Get yourself your bag of beans, your bag of rice, and probably you could go with some mixed vegetables, some cheap, and just continually keep the pan full of water. Do you think that would work?
Better than nothing.
Yeah. The sad part is we went to, I hate this place worse than hell itself, Walmart, actually today. And I just went over to the meat department and I was looking at prices of meat, and a pack of pork chops was $11. And
Yep.
I couldn't get over it. I mean, I went and looked up and down, just the meat in general, and thinking, a normal family, how do they expect people to be able to feed themselves now, much later, not including then, when all this happens?
They don't.
They don't care.
They'll feed them. That's what they're for.
Oh, whatever.
Come on, get your food stamps.
Yeah, the powers that be don't care. They want to control you, like Geek said. They want you to sign up on food stamps. They want to corral you into central locations, and that'll be the end of it. Because then the only, if you think about it, really, food is about the only thing that they can hold over your head to control you with.
Well, yeah, there is that, but you and I have talked about this winter here in town. I mean, during when we hit the bad spells, they closed off town for 3 and 4 days at a time. You weren't allowed to be on the road, horse or buggy or car or whatever. There were no grocery stores open, nothing. And then with that, they put a cap on how much gas that they could take to people's homes, which is 100 gallons.
And they jacked the price way up.
Oh, they did. Oh my gosh, yeah. It was almost doubled during that 6 to 8 week period of time.
So we are destined for a worse winter, and this is coming from Farmer's Almanac, than we had last year.
Oh,
Here in Indianapolis, we had all-time record snowfall here. So I can't imagine it being more, because, there were days at a time that nobody went anywhere, and then it was very limited after that. Snow just piled everywhere, roofs caving in from the weight of the snow, all that kind of stuff. So, what should people start doing now, in your opinion? And we'll start with Geek this time. What do you think people should start paying attention? It's September 2nd.
What should they start paying attention to?
And get ready for winter.
Warm clothes. I mean, even if your power goes out, if you're bundled up and snuggled up with your family, you'll be warm. And then obviously food. So I would get a bunch of food that's easy to prepare, even if there's not power. So get your camp stove fired up or whatever. Get a bunch of clothes from Goodwill, and just be ready for what comes. Now, people have survived winter for millions of years. I think those of us who know how to work will be fine. But maybe not the people that depend on, handouts. But that's just evolution, man.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up, because if you think about it, how long have we had actual electricity in our homes?
Not long.
Not long. We've lived a lot longer without it, as humans, and we have had it. But how many people are scared to death to lose it?
I like air
Well,
conditioning.
they're scared because they don't know how to. They don't know how to make do without it. You know, there's no place anybody can go to learn how to live without electricity
Yeah, there is Shipshawana.
because where at Amish.
Shipshawana, they all have gas. They don't have electric.
Oh, now wait a minute here, because I'm going to say this because I came up to visit you, and I, we went on a little trip,
Mm-hmm.
and because I wanted to see how off-grid certain sectors of our population live, and quite honestly, they're just as dependent on the grid in different ways than we are.
Oh yeah, they are. I used to work construction with those yahoos, man.
Okay, I was
Because
trying to be nice.
what if they run generators?
Yep, and have cell phones
If
hidden
they
in the
run
barns.
stuff on generators, yeah, I mean,
Well, even
just
that,
plug
they
it into
use-
the wall, man.
They use natural gas, which
Mhm.
they're dependent upon to bring some. They might not have electricity, but they utilize things like natural. And this is not all of them. This is just some of the ones that we visited. They rely upon someone to bring them natural gas, so they're still dependent. And if you think about it, even if you go off grid with solar or anything like that, batteries, solar power, your solar. Those solar panel things. They only have a shelf life. They're not going to last forever. So now you're dependent upon someone else to replace that when it wears out. So how far off grid can you really be?
Well, it depends what state
That's
you live
true.
in.
Yeah, that's
That's
like,
the other
Hey,
thing.
don't we have an Amish prepper in our community that we can bring him on the show here and pick his brain?
I've got quite a few Amish followers on Geek Prepper. I should probably reach out to them.
Well, let's bring them on.
Reach out
Do
to
a
the
whole
Amish
show.
guys.
You know, Levi and Noah.
My husband's entire family
Yeah.
is all Amish.
Are you married to an Amish guy?
No, we're English.
English. You're the Hokie, the high folk.
Yes, we're something. So we're not going to go there. But yeah.
Yeah, because that knowledge is very valuable. You know, especially with everything that's going on right now within Russia and Ukraine, and
Oh, that's a mess.
there's just so much that can go wrong. One guy just got beheaded again today.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Was it another American?
Yeah, another reporter.
Another journalist.
Oh, man. It's time to clean house. I'm sorry.
Yeah, our house.
The guy was a freelancer.
Amen, sister.
And it's just sad, you know, the way the world is going.
It is. It's
And-
really. It's not scary. It's just sad.
Sorry, I'm
Now,
like,
both of those guys. What's that?
I'm sorry. I was laughing. I was reading the chat room. Sorry.
Yeah, we
Yes,
should
we're
give them a
talking about
shout out.
beheadings here.
We should give everybody
Hey,
a shout
I
out in
can't
the
see the
chat
chat
room.
room. Hey, folks. To the chat room.
Okay, so back to.
I can't see anybody because I'm driving.
Well, you be careful. Back to winter preparedness. So, one big thing that I worry about in the wintertime when talking to people is the amount of house fires that occur in the wintertime. Because people use candles to heat their homes with if their power goes out, and those kind of things. They've also been known to suffocate because if we get a significant amount of snow, it will cut off the oxygen into your house. So those are two things that I want everybody aware of, the bad part of winter. There's not many, but those are the two things that I worry about the most. So look at alternate forms of lighting or heating if you can. Candles worry me, or even oil lamps, because those things can be tipped over. Also, before you get to winter, I know there'll be a lot of things going around on Facebook and stuff pertaining to, the Crisco lights, and you can just throw a wick in a can of Crisco and, you're going to have light forever. If you haven't done it, you need to do it because it sucks. and I'll tell you that right now. Same way with using olive oil for a light. You get very low light, and it's hard to keep it lit. So just because the stuff is out there doesn't mean that it's accurate. And if you're going to rely upon that information to get you through winter, you need to test it out now. Geek, you have a lot of stuff up on your website pertaining to preparedness, a lot of great stuff, because you don't fall into the trap of, well, let's just look at what everybody else is throwing out there. You actually test the stuff out.
I do, and a fantastic sleeping bag is worth 10 times trying to heat your house with oil or anything. So, Mylar tents, solar lights from the yard in the house if you need light. Forget that oil lamp stuff, man. I mean, yeah,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, if there's nothing else, but, I mean, everybody's got those solar lights in your driveway, man. Go out and grab those suckers and bring them in.
Well, let's talk about your house loses electricity. It's 10 degrees below zero outside. The wind is blowing. You've got kids.
Yep.
And you want to keep them warm. So what would you do in your house in order to make sure that they're staying as warm as possible?
Go to the basement that's the most stable temperature in the house, obviously.
Okay, I don't have a basement.
Okay, then first floor, or if your upstairs is warmer, just the warmest place in your house. Set up either a sleeping bag or Mylar blanket, make like a tent, and everybody bundles up, it gets in there, cuddles together, and in sleeping bags or whatnot. I mean, you can survive really cold temperatures that way.
Yeah.
Your body heat's reflecting, and you're all in the same zone, breathing, and...
So pick an internal room in your house,
Yep.
not an outside wall.
No, yeah. Something well, insulated well, or it's always the stuffy spot. You know where it is in your house.
Yeah, throw up some blankets on the windows or
Yep.
Barricade off other rooms if you have to.
Yep. Or get underneath your dining room table and drape blankets over it and make like a little fort.
But yeah, that's a good point right there. Build an internal tent within the room somehow.
Yep. And stay in there and hang out.
Your body heat will take you a lot farther than you can imagine. Okay, what about vehicles?
Horse and buggy.
Okay, no. But how would you prepare your vehicles now to be ready for wintertime?
The kit in the trunk. I drive vast distances for my job. So if it's winter and I have to go on a haul, I've got bottles of water. I've got food. I've got like a super awesome mega 30 below zero sleeping bag I take with me. Mylar blankets, flares, chem lights, flashlights. I just prepare that I'm going to get stuck, so I take what I think I'll need.
Shoes.
Boots.
Winter boots are the most important, or one of the most important things. I've said it before, and I'll say it 100 more times. There was a gentleman out of Washington, D.C., and it wasn't Geek, because he knows better, who tried to walk home in the blizzard last year when they got hit with all that snow in his dress shoes to go, they match nicely with his suit, the alligator dress shoes, and probably cost him a couple $100. He ended up losing his toes. All you have to do is throw a pair of hiking boots in your vehicle, or if you take Metro or something like that, keep them at your office. Clean out the back of one of your drawers in your desk and have a little bag back there that you have shoes in that you can utilize, hiking boots that are winterproof, waterproof, and all that kind of stuff, and do that. A sleeping bag too. We talked to Mike from Backyard Pioneer. He lives out in Long Island. Best thing you can do is get a sub-zero rated sleeping bag. It doesn't take up that much room, and throw it in your vehicle.
The shoe thing's ridiculous. I see that all the time. I've seen people walking in the snow in heels, yeah, or flip-flops. It's like, why didn't you take 2 seconds to throw some boots in your trunk? It's wintertime, idiot.
Or they're outside a jacket. So they think a sweatshirt's going to be fine.
Yeah, or my car's heated, I'll wear a t-shirt. Yeah. But then again, Darwinism, that's how smart people survive, and hopefully, some of this stuff will kick in, not to be rude.
Well, there's that. So, we're down to the last half hour. Here's the big question. If you could build utopia, how would you do so? So you can't move from your present location, which shouldn't be too big of a problem. But it's after the grid has gone down, after shit hit the fan. and you've survived. So how would you go about rebuilding your piece of the pie? What would you do? What's the first thing you would start doing, Geek?
Water, a way to get water and stay warm.
What would you want within your little utopia?
Oh, food. I'd want food and water. I mean, I'd want to be able to self-sufficient, not self-preservation. I'm sorry. I want to provide for myself and my family. I don't want to rely on anyone, because that way I'm not in that trap.
But are you going to have to rely on other people?
Well, I mean, community. Yeah, you can't survive as an island, but I can barter. Trade with my neighbors, barter. I'd like to replace my neighbors. Can I do that? I can't move, but can they go away?
Well, they might have died.
Well, they will.
Okay, then they're dead.
So okay, no, good. So I would try to encourage people to move into my area with good skills. Like, hey, I got some really good squash. Why don't you come live next door?
And squash would probably entice people in.
If they're hungry.
especially acorn squash. It's been baked over an open fire with butter and brown sugar. And I skipped dinner tonight, can you tell?
What in the world?
It's been a busy day.
Are you fasting?
No, I'm not. I'm just busy. JD, what would you want in your little utopia? Did we lose him?
I don't know.
I think we might have.
JD, oh, he's driving.
Yeah, we might have just lost him. All right, Susan?
Oh, goodness, my utopia. Well, I had a couple thoughts. One of them I can't do because that's a really long way away. I'd say go, like, in the middle of Alaska, like I've always talked about. But it's over with, and we're here. I don't know. I mean, where we're located is a really good location for people and, rebuild.
But it depends on whose map you look at, because we see all those things floating around the internet where you don't want to be in this area, you don't want to be in this area, this place is going to blow up, this is going to just disintegrate. Anything east of the Mississippi basically has a big red X over it.
Yay.
We all three live here.
Yeah, and, but, okay, so you go out west, well, then, we were just talking about the ash earlier tonight. So you go out there, you're going to have to deal with all that. So where is the perfect place?
Well, the map I posted, let me go track it down. I put it up on the pink page, was if Yellowstone blows, which I know there are different theories out there. Some people think, we've got time. Other people think that we need to watch the Cascadia before it's going to blow first. But this map is from the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, and it is if Yellowstone blows, the volcanic ash impacts and how it would happen. So basically, ground zero would be more than 1,000 millimeters thick, and then it goes all the way out to, we get into Illinois, mostly more Indiana, Ohio, into Washington, D.C., so that would cover all three of us. We're talking about 3 to 10 millimeters thick, but it would impact the entire United States. So there would not be anyone, sans Miami and Brownsville, Texas, it looks like, that would get away with it, according to this map. And we've seen plenty of other maps out there.
Well, I mean, you're going to have a map about that, and then you have people who, they worry about, the nuclear power plants if one was to go off and where they're at. But, I mean, they're all over the United States, and, it just depends on what your thought process is, I guess, on what can happen. I know a lot of people, I mean, we've discussed this before, if afterwards more people are going to go probably south than they would north because, the weather and the climate and everything. I would go further north because hunting-wise is going to, I grew up in the South. I was born in Nashville and grew up in Myrtle Beach before we moved up here. And being up north, I know that there, at least here, hunting season-wise, it seems like there's a lot more, of options for that type of stuff. And the weather I know I can handle. And, it's what we're looking for, on a daily basis around here anyway, so my lifestyle is not going to have to change a lot according to seasons. So, and I know I would have to have other people. I mean, my family's great and everything, but after a while, I think I'd start to take it. That's all I had to deal with on a daily basis. And, you know, have other people in their skills, too. That's another big thing.
Geek, what do you think? Now, we followed the news in, like, the Ukraine and places like that. And countries that have been impacted by war and the battles that are going on over there, Syria. You get into the big cities like the capitals, like Washington, D.C., and that's where you're going to see a lot of destruction. You get out to the outer parts, into the farmland, you don't see it as much. So what are your thoughts? Do you think the entire eastern part of the United States is going to be worthless? Would you go west? Would you head north, south? What do you think?
My plan is to go west, but if west is not an option, my plan is to go west to the mountains and then just follow them north. I've got the Appalachians. I can just walk the trail or just, bushwhack with my clan and just go north into the Canada, because Canada's very sparse up north. There's nobody there. I don't know why. Maybe it smells bad or it's cold. But
now I got ragged on for dumping on Canada one night, so it's your turn.
No, I like Canada. I'm cool with Canada. I used to go up there when I was a kid all the time because you could drink at 18 and do stupid things. I loved it.
Oh gosh.
So no, I mean, but it's very sparse. If you look at the nighttime maps where you can see the lights from the cities and stuff, or the population density maps, you're not far. I mean, I'm in a major metropolitan area, but if I go north, I get up there a couple hundred miles, I'm probably going to be okay. I will ride a moose and hang out with the Mounties, and we will rock it.
You're going to ride a what and do what with the moose?
Ride a moose and hang out with the Canadian Mounties. I look good in
red. Do you think they're going to let you into the country?
No, I'm not going to ask. I'm going to do it all freaking immigrant style and sneak.
Oh, gosh.
Yep, sorry, chat room, I lit that up. I brought that up, my bad. No, man, I'm not going to ask permission. I'm just going to do what I want to do. It's kind of how Geek operates.
So, by that time, a lot of people will be doing the same thing. So.
Right. I'll just be hanging out, and I'll say I'm fleeing, danger in my country. They'll have to let me stay, right?
No, but, what? I think you're cute enough they'd let you stay.
I would work my mojo all over. Hey, guys, what's up, sailors? Hey, ladies.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation in itself. So, what would you do to be able to stay in Canada?
I just
don't get caught.
Yeah, I would just hang out and be Canadian. They would have no idea. I'd wear plaid and boots and...
Say a lot.
Yeah, drink lumberjacks, or sing lumberjack songs and drink beer. Sorry, it's been a long night already.
Yeah, but, I mean, a lot of people are going to go west. They think that they're just going to go west. First, they have to get across the Mississippi.
That's a big river.
Mm-hmm. They have to get through the mountains. If you've never driven through the Rocky Mountains, hello.
Yeah.
The top of it going through the Great Basin looks like the moon.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to cross the Mississippi. Those people are gonna stop you at those bridges. You are not coming across.
What bridges? There probably won't be bridges. They'll be owned.
Yep, or they'll drop them.
Yeah, or they'll be non-existent, like you said.
Now, if you read my bug out boat post, you'd be all prepared for this, people.
Explain that.
I have a whole post about bugging out via boat. I mean, I'm not using roads because that's where all the bad guys or the gubbies are going to be sitting. They're going to get you at the choke points, the bridges, the passes. I'm going to be drifting down the stream fishing and having a good old time.
You really think you're going to be able to do that?
I'll do it at night and I'll do it fast. I'll be one of the first ones out of this area because I know what's coming this way. So I will just... Well, see, I kind of work in a job where I will have some warning. So my readers will definitely know what's going on. All the people that do this stuff are my customers, and I've made friends with them and hang out with them, professionally. I don't like them. Sorry, guys. I know they're listening.
You're going to go to work tomorrow, and you're going to be very bored because...
Sorry, gubbies. I love you guys. Just joking.
You're not going to have any customers.
Yeah, that's whatever. But no, I mean, the people that are going to be knowing and doing the stuff, I will just watch for their cues. They may not say anything, but, you can read people. If something's wrong,
Okay, realistically, we see all kinds of shit happening in the news right now, and it's coming from all directions, between Ebola, ISIS, Yellowstone, you name it, it's coming across the south border, the north border. You know, we had immigrants coming into San Diego off the beach that got caught the other day. We had, in Columbus, Ohio, we had a school go into lockdown because of an Islamic threat. We had Sunday, we had churches that were vandalized here in Columbus, Indiana, for the same thing, with scripture from the Quran on there. So everybody's getting just all kinds of oobies in their belly, like they're scared, but they don't know which one to be more scared of because of everything that's coming down and what the media is laying out there. How realistic is a lot of this, and what worries you the most?
It's real, but that's what the government media wants. They want us to be afraid so they can justify expanding and you know, having these great big civilian military forces while cutting back the military. I take it all seriously. I mean, that's why we prep. We prep for anything, not just one situation. So, you know, just beans and bullets, baby, and Band-Aids.
Susan, what do you think?
Well, I'm afraid of all of it, to be honest. I'm afraid for our country and our people because, I mean, I have no idea what people are even thinking anymore when you look at the news. And, you know, luckily where we are, I mean, we're in such a small town, you know, we don't have all of this stuff. But that's what scares me the most, is because I think we become more relaxed with everything because it's not going to happen here. But, you know, what I found very interesting is, you know, I was going through web pages and things like that, and they came out with a new service announcement, like commercial of what it's like a what do you do, and I can't remember who it's by, Lori, you might have seen it, about, and it had people inside like of a school, and they were huddled around their kids.
Yeah, I posted that up on our page.
Okay. Yeah,
it's from the government. It's from the government.
Right, but what bothers me is they're coming out with more and more of these little announcements here and there, and then you'll see a billboard here and there, and if they're putting stuff like that out there, why are they doing it if it's not going to be an issue?
And I keep following your train of thought. Do you think they're doing it intentionally because they're planning on something?
I think something, because that way they can say, well, we warned you, you know, we tried preparing you for all of these things. I remember when there was a huge thing when Walmart put those buckets of the food out in the camping section. Remember when we were talking about that? You know, where they're good for 5 years, and people were like posting, well, if Walmart's putting this out, you know, maybe we should start taking more of an interest in it and thinking something's going to happen because, you know, a chain like that's starting to produce more and more of these items. You know, and it's just, even in commercials, seeing stuff like this, it's just, I hope it's bringing more people to light to what's coming, you know, and it's not necessarily, you know, a religious thing, but I think people are involved with religion aren't doing nice things. I think people in our government aren't doing what they need to be doing. I think people with their own interests are just tearing our world apart, you know, even on our own soil, and that scares me because I don't know of all the things that are going on, what's really going to happen.
So you think they're intentionally overwhelming people?
Well, I think that, and then I think with the different news organizations, whether it's, you know, even social media, you know, they try to play off each other. Well, it's not a big thing, you know, they're just trying to make it a big deal. You know, this is real, this isn't real, that's real. And I think they use kind of like a smoke and mirror thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we talked about kind of the Ebola thing in hospitals, almost to the point where they're getting Ebola envy. Like, I want to get it first because that's going to make me feel more important.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then they just posted something on, I think it was Yahoo or something, where one guy escaped, and it actually showed them trying to hunt him down and put him back into a truck. You know, I don't understand that. How can somebody who is sick like that supposedly escape out of a quarantine area, go back into a whole group of people, and then they think by putting masks on that going and taking him back out of the section with people, it's just going to be okay.
Do you think maybe they've just decided that, there's nothing else they can do? Why worry about it?
There's
going to come a point.
Go ahead, honey.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I think, it comes a point in time, okay, are they intentionally doing things at the same time? Do you know what I'm saying? Oops, he accidentally escaped. Oh, darn, let's hurry and go get him back.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
But you know what I mean? It's like, how much of it is intentionally done, how much of it is accidentally done anymore.
So kind of like, let him go, let's see how bad he can spread the disease, so that way we can loosen up on the rest of them?
Well, that, and I remember, and this is probably going to sound horrible, when the Americans came back over on American soil that had it to go get taken care of. Okay, in my brain, and I'm, whatever. Okay, so somebody's really, really sick with something very contagious. I know, let's bring them to a place where it really hasn't established that, and let's help them get better and hope that they don't spread it somehow to everyone else. Why didn't they just stay there and get better?
Yep, we could have went to them. That's exactly what I was saying.
I don't understand. Oh, wait, the United States doesn't have it yet, so let's just go take this person and put it there and see what happens. I of course, I don't want them to not get better. Please don't think that. But at the same time, okay, well, if they're sick and they're being treated over there, let them be treated over there. Why uproot them if they're so sick? Bring them to a place that hasn't had this issue yet and hopefully doesn't become an issue. I don't understand that thinking. Other than, well, they want to see what happen.
Yeah, well, what do you guys... Well, and two, you have to remember, we're coming up onto football season, and where there's going to be Christmas shoppers out, so the opportunities for large quantity to be in very small places. School is back in session.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We had an epidemic at school. I mean, my kids have been in school for 3 weeks, and they've already missed 2 days because there was a huge flu epidemic that came and just all of a sudden shot up through here.
Well, I heard G. Michael on his show earlier tonight, and I've seen it, and we've posted it. But there's another, I'll call it an epidemic in Missouri, in that area. It's a respiratory, something new that's out that's affected just hundreds of kids in that area, because you walk into any public school building and it's usually as warm as Tahiti in there, because they crank the heat up, and all of these kids are in confined spaces. I love my kids to death, but not one of them has the best hygiene practices. You see a bunch of kindergarten kids wiping their noses on their sleeves, and not covering their mouths, not washing their hands. We're just asking for trouble.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, okay, if you were remember Pinky and the Brain? Okay, if you were Brain and you wanted to get something out there and spread it the fastest, where's the best place to do it at? A school, a grocery store, where people are not, their guard is down, they're not paying attention to anything. They're doing their own daily routine. And think of how many people go in and out or are affected by all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you guys going to do to keep the fear down, the hysteria down, and keep your family safe? Geek, what do you think?
I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I watch the news and I keep abreast of all that stuff, but...
Do you filter the news to your family?
No, not really. Not really. No, my kids are young. They're 8, 6, and 4, so they're not really concerned. As long as mom and dad are stable, they're pretty cool.
So how do you keep how's your wife dealing with everything, or does she just...
She and I aren't on the same page. She kind of just doesn't really care. She just kind of watches it, like, all right, whatever. Whereas I'm like, what's going on? What's all this craziness? How's this going to impact us? I'm always working a plan. And she if it goes down, she'll be right there. I get that. So I guess her thing is, don't worry till it directly impacts us. But I will.
Yeah, G. Michael's like, wear a tinfoil hat. We do not waste tinfoil on hats.
Mm-mm.
There's plenty of other things we can use that foil for that's more valuable.
That's right.
That is expensive stuff.
Oh, and Hunt saw a lovely tinfoil hat. You guys need to snag those things up and fold it up nice and neat so we can use it for other things.
Origami.
We don't waste tinfoil.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Let's see here.
I know in our house, I mean, all of our kids are older, and, you know, we have two in opposite ends of the state going to school, and I think I drove them nuts before they left saying, okay, if you're at school and something happens, how do you get home? What do you do? You know, and I don't want to say I browbeat it into them, but I know I have confidence, you know what I mean, that they'll be able to take care of things. And here, I mean, the kids at school, I mean, it's the same thing with the younger two. Okay, if you're home, what do you do? If you're at school, what do you do? You know, so, I mean, we do have a very good plan just in case, you know, and what's funny is my husband is the one that actually, you know, started all this, and when he pulled me along, I remember talking to Lori, you know, 2 years ago? When
Easily.
I woke up and took the blue pill, because before I you know, thought everybody was the you know, crazy people, and I remember calling Lori at 10 o'clock at night going, they've got more preps than I do. I don't know what I'm going to, you know, freaking out. And, you know, it's one of those things I think everybody just needs to take a pill and relax and take part of the news for what it's worth at face value and throw the rest of it out the window, because a lot of it is, I think, hyped up.
What's the slogan? Be prepared, not scared.
Exactly.
So let me throw this out there and challenge people that are listening. You know, when do you make that determination to keep your family safe? Because we saw it with the snows, where people waited for the meteorologist to determine that you should stay off the roads or not send your kid to school, or we wait for other people to tell us what to do. And we've been programmed since birth for that. You know, my kids, I've tried to raise them to be little, I wouldn't call them rebels, but I want them to challenge sometimes, respectfully, what they get force-fed. But when do you decide it's time that you take back that responsibility for your own family's safety, instead of waiting for somebody, you know, that gets the brush off, oh, well, they went to college, they know what they're talking about, blah, 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 you know, all of that kind of stuff. When do you determine that? Geek, what do you think?
I don't think I've given up that determination. I always do. I mean, I'm not waiting on anybody to tell me to stay or go, or, you know, weather's going to be bad. I don't do that. My kids are homeschooled, so we have a little more control. But yeah, that doesn't impact us. I know they're going to tell us what they want us to hear or what they want us, you know, to know, and I just don't do that. I look at everything objectively, and I make my decisions.
A lot of people don't, though. How are you going to wake other people up?
You I guess do what you got to do for yourself first, and then worry about others later. I mean, you have to solidify yourself, or you're not going to help anybody. It's like on the airline. You know, if the gas mask dropped from the ceiling, put yours on first, then help those around you.
Right.
You know, solidify yourself and make a difference where you can. But some people you can't save.
Yeah, I think we have, as preppers, the perfect opportunity right now, and we shouldn't waste those out of fear, to open other people's minds. You know, it's not going to do any harm to be standing in the grocery store and start a conversation with someone and say, hey, or, you know, pick up the Farmer's Almanac. It's right there in the aisle. And say, oh my goodness, this winter's going to be worse than last. That was horrible. You know what? You know, that was horrible. We were without power for a week. What are we going to do? You know, and start those conversations. You don't have to tell people what you do. You don't have to tell people about your preps or anything. But you can get people thinking about it ahead of time. And not everybody's going to fall in there, because last year we warned the hell out of people about, you know, what's going on, and we still do it. And people still go out there and get themselves into all kinds of trouble. You're not going to save everybody.
Mm-mm.
who somebody had the analogy, and I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about, you have your boat of people that you're looking at to help, but then when it gets really bad, all you have left is the little inflatable raft. So who's going to go in that little inflatable raft? And I don't remember who said that, but you can help all the people that you want to get into the big boat, but you're responsible for the little raft. Geek, you have any closing words to say? We're down to about a minute, and I'm going to blow this ending too.
I just think for yourselves. Get what you think you need. Read up if you don't know what you need, and just stop listening to the media, man. They're just feeding you. It's called programming for a reason. TV program.
What do you got going on? What website can we go to and look at all your stuff?
Oh yeah, geekprepper.org. Like we discussed, we don't post the same crap everybody else does. So I mean, you will learn something, you will see something new, and a lot of people think it's fresh. So come check us out. We'd love to have you.
Awesome, Susan. What do you got going on?